Too much comfort does instantly become uncomfortable, right? The last thing you want to be is someone who is constantly seeking pleasure, dopamine, in the shittest forms as well. Because ultimately what that'll lead to is no confidence, feeling like a bag of shit, not feeling like a man, not feeling like the person you're supposed to be, not feeling like a powerful, capable person, which we all want to be, right? And when I say powerful, I don't mean power hungry and egotistical. I mean a strong sense of independence and an ability to conquer any task. That's what I mean by powerful, right? Why are you allowing yourself to live to such a low standard of being in general consciousness, right? Our consciousness is the way you perceive your current reality, if you want to go deep. When you perceive your current reality from a state of comfort and almost entitlement, and just no real drive or ambition to do anything, then there's no wonder that the relationship with yourself is shit. Because you're living weekend to weekend, you're doing the things that someone who doesn't want to be themselves, their true authentic self, does, right? If you're running away from the most deepest, truest version of you, then chances are, yeah, you're scared of that person. And now I'm not saying if you go out and you enjoy partying, you enjoy that lifestyle, that's what you're doing. I'm not saying that by any means. But there is people in that circle that are doing that. 100%. I think we all go through stages where we absolutely love going out, getting on the piss, and I think it's good for the soul once every so often. But if it's a constant repetitive thing of you running away, because that is ultimately what you're doing, then unfortunately you're just running further away from that point of happiness, fulfillment, enjoyment that you really want, that you should be striving for. And that's where the comfort becomes uncomfortable. I don't know about you, but whenever I've been running away from something, it's made me miserable in the times that I am not in the escape, if that makes sense. And that is uncomfortable, right? It's like you need to reshape the way you perceive these things, because what you think is enjoyment is actually just a short-term solution to a long-term problem, and what you perceive as struggle is the long-term solution that is accompanied by a short-term problem. Sit and think about that. And this is where you've really got to sit down and almost try not to think too much and just understand that you need to start taking action and moving forward. Because there's always going to be reasons and excuses for you not to do the thing that you know you need to do. And they're always going to be valid. Always. The brain is incredibly good at creating valid excuses to not see through a very needed change, right? There's a book called The War of Art, not the art of war, The War of Art. And it is about writer's block. So those who write books, probably even movies and TV shows as well, just actually the act of sitting down and doing an hours, 2 hours or 3 hours worth of writing, like the amount of writers that will procrastinate over that for forever. The War of Art is a perspective on writer's block, and he uses resistance. What's his name again? Can't remember. But uses resistance as the vice, or the problem of writer's block is like your resistance, and resistance is that voice that comes up with a very valid excuse for you not to go to the gym, or that voice that comes up with a very valid reason for you to have a chocolate bar at the end of the day, which is perfectly normal, or that voice that comes into your head to have that drink on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. This is resistance. And resistance is essentially the force that stops you from achieving or getting on the right path to achieving your goals. It's a powerful thing. I've read that book about 5 or 6 times. It's nice and short, nice and easy. If you're not much of a reader and you want to start reading, it's a great book to start with. But what it leads on to, you have resistance as the enemy, and you have turning pro, as in turning professional. When you turn professional, that is when you have learned to overcome resistance and see through the tasks that your mind is constantly trying to resist you from doing, but you manage to do it anyway. So ultimately what I'm saying is we all need to turn pro. But you also need to learn how to combat resistance. You've got to learn that comfort in itself will make you uncomfortable. All right.
Let's make sure that recorded.
The second time I sat down, recorded a video, and it didn't work. No sound. I was like, you bastard. Anyway, drop a wee like and a sub if you got this far. Appreciate you. And I will see you on the next one. All right. Links in the bio. If you fancy some coaching, you want to get on board, we can reframe the mindset, restructure the body. And do some damage. All right. Peace.